Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Cardinal podcast that, like the Cardinals draft lottery selection, is not as good as everyone hoped. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Dan Samorka.
What is up, Nate H?
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. Hambone, here we are. No one can say we're not in December. How you doing? Welcome to the winter months.
It's inarguable that we are in December, Nate. No one... Bulletproof.
Look, in this mixed up, tipsy-topsy world that we're living in right now, isn't it nice
nobody can agree on anything
clarity?
these days. Am I right?
I know. A, left, right. What? I just want to say it's December.
Is that okay?
Is that okay?
Am I going to offend somebody? Yeah, dude. That does suck. That was god-awful bullshit. There's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
The skis are hitting the slopes. Baseball is not happening. Football's happening. There's just no argument. It is December time. We are ordering Christmas presents to your house in anticipation for gift giving.
And I'm doing what I always do: is open them up, rifle through them, make my own selections. Tell you which ones didn't get delivered, but secretly I kept them.
Our first Christmas party of the season this weekend.
Wow.
Which, I love them all. So it's great.
We went and got our Christmas tree over the weekend. Went and cut it down ourselves, Hambone.
A little late in the season, Nate.
Well, I had to wait for my neighbor to be out of town so I could sneak into his yard and cut down his tree.
Yeah, that is your classic move.
No, I mean, it was December 4th or 5th we went and got it.
I assume it's in St. Louis City where you live. It's just a thick-ass weed, right? A weed that was left untouched for a couple of months.
Yeah, it's actually just a big ball of weed.
Classy.
Yeah, that's how we do it. No, we go out to Southern Illinois, cut ourselves a tree, go out to...
Wow, I can't think of anything more interesting than that. That sounds really fun. What kind of saw are you using?
A sharp one.
Wow. Not a chain?
No.
Okay.
No. Come on. You think I need a chainsaw to cut down a tree?
I don't think anyone but chainsaws are obviously cool. What do you
They are cool. One time
weird argument.
in one of the probably dumbest things that I've done, and I don't know. That's a hard thing to define, but we had to.
I was telling somebody a story the other day about you and I growing up and going down to Kentucky Lake and shooting fireworks at each other on the dock.
Yeah, just straight pointing a bottle rocket at someone and firing it. Yeah, that's always good. Roman candles and the like. We also built pipe bombs down there.
Yeah.
They weren't. We did not think of them as pipe bombs. We weren't like we're gonna build a pipe bomb, but it was ostensibly a pipe bomb.
Worth saying that we are definitely not domestic terrorists.
Let us be clear. Let me put it on the record. We're certainly not domestic terrorists.
Right.
Terrorists. Not yet. With this one though, was chainsawing a tree that was growing too close to my house. The old house though, the one where you and I were roommates.
I remember. I was there.
Yeah. Watched a lot of Top Gear when we were roommates. But anyway, I had to lean off the roof of the house with a chainsaw to cut off this branch. And basically, like, my dad was also on the roof holding me so that I could lean off of the roof holding a chainsaw in order to get to part of the tree.
That's good parenting right there.
Yeah. Like, the only thing worse than falling off a roof, I think, is falling off a roof while holding an active chainsaw.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
We got the job done, though.
I'm sure you did. You always do.
I've also been practicing.
We call you the finisher on this podcast.
That's right. I'm always just getting it done. I have been practicing my chainsaw skills, of course, to murder you and your entire family, except for the part of the family that overlaps with me. So just like your specific family. I mean, there may be some strays caught. Some of my immediate family may as well too, but as part of our blood feud.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good
Uh,
old family annihilation joke as part of the blood feud. We love it. It's good.
I've been thinking about rewatching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. Have you seen that recently?
Recently, no. But it is we were talking about Stone Cold Classics before we hopped on. That's an SCC all day.
You said SEC before we got on the call, and I didn't know what you meant, and I just let it ride. So I'm really glad you brought it back up. Stone Cold Classic, Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
undoubtedly.
Yeah. I feel like if I was in that situation, I would have survived, but like I understand why.
No, you'd be the guy with the chainsaw chasing everybody down. Ooh.
Let me eat your fingers.
Yeah. Sadistic fuck.
Do you have any SCCs for Christmas?
I think Christmas Story is an SCC.
Sure.
I feel like I don't even know if it's really a good movie or not. I feel like such a part of my experience just growing up and there's
Because
like a
we had,
channel that plays it on
we had
loop,
identical
right?
childhoods, so
Yeah.
yes, I also feel that movie is a classic Christmas movie, though I haven't seen it in a long time, and I wonder that if it's good or not, or if it's
Yeah.
just like it's a tone piece more than anything. You know, I don't think it
Yeah,
really.
and
It's
you don't really need to analyze it
yeah,
because it is good and I like it. Love the Home Alones, of
sure,
course. Um Christmas Vacation is fun, although kind of weird.
yeah. I know you
Jim,
love Home Alone 2 for a particular cameo. It's your favorite movie and favorite scene.
oh God, they're making another Home Alone movie. I wonder if Trump is going to cameo in that too. I mean, why not?
That
Right?
would be a bold
Keep the good
move
times rolling.
let's do that again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing we want in our new Home Alone. Yeah, it's gonna be Macaulay Culkin, I think, is like the
at
dad now,
Mar-a-Lago.
right?
Yeah.
The Winter White House, thank you very much.
um, I have
Just
been.
Trump alone in Mar-a-Lago with people trying to
That
break
would
in
be
and rob
pretty
it.
funny, actually. I'd watch that.
Just
I've been
descent
Grinch
into
pilled.
dementia.
I've been Grinch
You've
pilled
been
over the
you've been
last
Grinch pilled.
handful of years. Yeah, I think the Jim Carrey Grinch movie is pretty good.
One of few
Just
movies I've seen multiple times in theaters.
wow. I
don't
can't
know
claim that.
why, but in like 2000 or whatever. Well, I know why because Jim Carrey's like, especially 13-year-old Nate, maybe 14. I don't somewhere around that. Like inspirational figure to me in many
Yeah.
ways still. So I went and saw that like 2 or 3 times in the theaters. So good movie.
We have the unfortunate tradition of when I'm at your house during the Christmas time watching Tim Allen's The Santa Claus every year, which unfortunately I find less funny than everyone else in the room.
I think it's a wonderful movie. Tim Allen, is
just he's just not my guy. It's fine though. I'm not gonna argue that we change it.
Sure.
Traditions are traditions, just
Uh-huh.
keep plowing forward. But just not my cup of tea.
Well, my take on the Grinch also, and similar with Scrooge, is these are often used as derogatory statements. Like if you're called a Grinch or you're called a Scrooge, like
People
those.
ignore the third act of the
Yeah,
piece. Yeah.
they're both redemption characters. We should
Right.
all aim to be Scrooge and Grinch. It takes some effort and some ghosts and other hijinks, but they learn the errors of their way and they become
Yeah.
better people.
We should all isolate, get
Mhm.
really weird and mean and jaded,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then have our minds
Mhm.
changed by a child or
Mhm.
ghosts.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have no argument
We
against that.
just watched 2 nights ago Muppets Christmas Carol. I think the best rendition
Oh
of
yeah, yeah. Muppets.
Christmas Carol.
Muppets are good.
We love a Muppet.
Yeah, I think I haven't watched anything. You know what? I've been watching The Penguin on HBO, which is not holiday themed. Um,
I saw
Extremely
a pitch
violent.
on. I haven't seen that yet. I did see a pitch one time that the Knives Out movies. There's now three of them. I haven't seen the third one yet. I think it's just now out. But I want a Knives Out Muppet, um, like
Oh,
like drop Benoit Blanc as he is into a
wow.
mystery, but all the other characters are Muppets, a la Michael Caine in Christmas Carol, where
Yeah.
it's played perfectly straight, but everybody's Muppets. They've already been multiple crime caper Muppet movies. Let's drop in Benoit Blanc in the middle, though.
Sold.
I think it's perfect.
I do declare, I think that Gonzo
Not.
was the one that stabbed this man in the heart.
Oh, I've never seen so much blood.
Okay.
Oh, poor Fozzie. Poor Fozzie.
You know, maybe they shouldn't make this movie. It sounds like shit.
All right. Well, off season abound, but we've got some news, Hambone. We've got some
Outline is
Cardinal.
packed today, Nate. You're
I
doing
mean,
a lot of your classic Nate dilly-dallying up top,
it's
and
always
we're stuffed to the gills on the
it's a
outline today.
packed it's a packed show, Hambone. We're just like December. No one can say we're not in the middle of the winter meetings right now. They are
Absolutely.
happening, and it's been quite active.
Dangerous
We'll
to
get
record a show in the middle of the
yeah,
day during the winter meetings. I
I
guess we'll
can't.
keep an eye on what's happening here.
Yeah, we'll be refreshing. We'll be participating in moments of awkward silence as we both look at our phones and other internet tabs. Actually, one
Right.
happened right before we hopped on, which we'll talk about later. So we'll see if anything comes up while we're here. But so far, though, for the Cardinals, it's actually been quiet. Still hoping for something to go down, of which, of course, we won't be on this episode unless it happens like right now. But a lot of movement happening around. We'll talk about that soon. The Cardinals did make one minor move this week, though. You want to outline it for us?
Yeah, the Cardinals plucked Zak Kent off waivers from the Guardians. He's 27 years old. He made his MLB debut this season. He appeared in 12 games with a 4.56 ERA, struck out 15 and 17 and two-thirds innings. And it's worth noting that he did have a fastball velo increase of 2 miles per hour in between 24 and 25. Outside of that, he's a 27-year-old reliever that just made his debut last year. So I don't think there's anything too exciting. In his very limited time, the StatCast data is moderately interesting. Like he has some movement on his stuff, and he was able to limit hard hits, which is obviously just generally good. But I would say this guy is, kind of on the pile of the mix of guys who may or may not impact the big league club in the later part of the bullpen. But it is a guy. I think there's a little bit of intrigue of the fact that he's from the Guardians, and obviously we have a little bit of Guardians blood in our front office now. Maybe there's a relation. Maybe he was just easy to pick up and could be potentially a guy. But nothing that really, at least on first look, doesn't seem to move the needle.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty willing to just trust that there's something in this profile that the team is interested in. We've seen them be quite successful year over year for a while now in selecting and developing relievers. That doesn't mean their hit rate is 100%. We know that there's plenty that have been picked up over the last handful of years that have done nothing or have failed at the major league level. But inarguably, like what month we're in, the Cardinals have been pretty good at developing relievers recently. And so whether this guy is something or is not, I guess we'll see. But I'm in my sort of blind trust era as far as bullpen arms goes right now.
Yeah, and I think with Riley O'Brien and Matt Swanson on the back end of the bullpen, I don't think you're desperate for, you don't need a guy like Zak Kent to find another 2 miles per hour and become a strikeout machine or anything like that. I think we feel pretty confident. I feel pretty confident that JoJo Romero is going to get traded maybe this week or fairly soon. but I think we feel pretty good about Swanson and O'Brien back there, so that you do just collect the names. This guy has ascended through the minors. That's good enough for him to earn a spot, and we'll see what happens when spring comes and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess this is one of the benefits of going into 26 with a clearer understanding of the team's goal than we've had in the years past. When you're going in saying we're not trying to win the division or make the playoffs or whatever, you have a little bit more of a loose framework for how you handle your bullpen and how you prioritize development and putting people in challenging spots. So I do wonder if that might be a slight change to 2026 and how Ali Marmol manages the bullpen. Because for the most part, he's managed it to win, and I think he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So will that be a little different when it's like, well, we could bring in a lefty right now, but we want to leave whoever out there just to let him get another at bat against lefties or whatever it may be.
Ollie did say, I think it was in one of Derek Gould's reports since last we talked, that Ollie's not really set on like even having a designated closer for this season. And now maybe that might change. Maybe Riley O'Brien is just pitching his face off, and it just makes sense to have him in the closer or the highest leverage position. Maybe Ollie will be managing like that. But yeah, it does seem like with this, especially with Helsley being gone, who was kind of your made man in the back of the bullpen, maybe they will be taking like a different just a different methodology of how to manage a bullpen, maybe like how the Cubs handle it up in Chicago, where it's kind of your lever gets pulled when your lever gets pulled, and you do the thing you're being asked to do.
Yeah, I think that's what every manager says until they don't. You know what I mean? Like you say that until you have a pretty obvious and clear demarcation on who your best relievers are and who they aren't. And we just don't have that right now. But inevitably, if you do have a guy who ascends to be, he's clearly our best pitcher, then you will then natively or instinctively use him in your most high leverage situations, which are almost always the ninth inning. Right. And then all of a sudden you look back and like, yeah, he's our closer. It only changes when you get to a point where you either have two or three guys that you're like, all of these guys are elite and we'll mix and match as needed, or the other way where you're like, well, we're kind of uncertain. But I think Riley O'Brien is going to enter the season as the closer, and I think barring injury, he will end the season as the closer. Or I should say, he's who I bet will end with the most amount of saves for the Cardinals, and I'd be surprised if it's particularly close.
Yeah, I think that's right. Matt Swanson, obviously, curious one to watch. I'm very excited to see, or I'm very hopeful to see Ryan Fernandez maybe figure things out, because he still struck guys out. The stuff wasn't like god awful. It just he got pounded one too many times. And Graceffo, I would say he's kind of my like dark horse candidate for maybe closing games. I don't know how realistic that is, but yeah, I think there's more than I agree. Riley O'Brien is probably the guy, but there's some interesting arms out there still. Yeah, maybe more to come.
Yeah, I expect more to come between international and just the standard off season. I expect we'll have multiple more, because though we have confidence in the back end of the bullpen, you could also argue like they need like 3 or 4 more guys to really feel confident that they're going to have enough quality and enough arms to rotate around and figure out who the like competitive staff is, especially if Kyle Leahy is going to be in the rotation.
Where's Packy Naughton at?
Where is Packy Naughton? Probably over in Boston, slamming some oysters.
Wow, really raking him over the coals. Yeah, I think he is. Healthy.
Got him.
No, he's got an elbow injury still. Did he get Tommy John? I think he did. But Packy Naughton's he's going to be back at some point, and then we'll be ready to hit the go button.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zak Kent, new name. He is a Cardinal, and I bet he impacts a major league club at some point this year.
Real concise name.
Zak Kent. It's also Z-A-K.
Yeah. Everything, it's like as tight as it could be.
Zak Kent.
Bo
Nix.
Yep. Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. That's also somebody.
How about that?
Um, I think they spell Nicks differently. Uh,
They
moving
broke the
on
chain.
to some rumors. Royals and Giants seem to be showing the most interest in Brendan Donovan. However, Bloom has stated that he is in no rush to move Brendan, as I think he is just going to sit back and wait to kind of roll calls and see what the most value he can get. A little bit of reporting we did get this week is that the Cardinals have previously have expressed interest in Noah Cameron. And it seems like if you are the Royals, it would make sense to move one of your starting pitchers to get a player like Brendan Donovan. What do you
Mhm.
think about Noah Cameron generally? And do you think that that deal could get done? Like, I don't know if a 1-for-1 deal would make sense or if that's enough to get Cameron because he has so much control remaining. Or, well, I guess I'll just answer it however you want to answer. Do you think do you like Noah Cameron? Should the Cardinals go after him?
Yes. If it were Brendan Donovan for Noah Cameron, I think that's a snap call in the Cardinals side.
Yeah.
I think the Royals would obviously benefit from it too. They get Brendan Donovan, which would be great for them. But I between the control, the early success, his age, and I think there's still some growth potential for Noah Cameron. Um, I think you'd be very, very happy to get him for Brendan Donovan straight up. He plugs into the rotation, is probably our ace the moment he plugs in.
Is he really? Do
Um,
you think that's true?
it's more the bar is low to clear right now, but I have more faith in him coming in 2026 than I think I do of any of the other guys in the rotation right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree too. Now there are some, you look at Noah Cameron, and he doesn't throw the ball. He's not the hardest thrower in MLB. He doesn't have the best fastball in baseball by a long shot. But what is fun about Noah Cameron is that he has some of the best breaking stuff in
Mhm.
baseball. His breaking ball run value was in the 99th percentile last year. He avoids barrels. He avoids getting hit hard. He avoids all those kind of negative things that you want from a pitcher. So he's not really like a guy that would come in and strike everybody out. But he keeps the ball on the ground. He's got good breaking stuff. And yeah, I think he could be interesting. But really, what is exciting is he's only 26 years old. His time frame would line up really well with the Cardinals' time frame. And hopefully, if you could get a guy like this, he could be your third starter on a competitive team,
Yeah,
fourth
yeah.
starter, something like that.
On a fully stocked rotation, he probably projects as a really good number three with upside for a number two in a peak year or so.
Yeah.
If some of that whiff rate actually turns into strikeouts and not just poor contact, because he has an above average whiff rate in the league too. So, that's where I say like there's some upside to possibly be had. I've seen some comps to a guy like Ranger Suarez, who took a few years in the league, but has been productive and then has had some really good years too. So I think he would be again best pitcher right now and would slot right in with, like you said, with hopefully reinforced by Doyle and others as they progress. So I frankly would be a little surprised if the Royals would do just Donovan for Cameron, considering the control. I think it's 5 more years.
Yeah,
And
he has less than a full year of MLB service time.
yeah,
So yeah, there he is on he's got a lot of control remaining. Yeah, I think you look at the Royals and how they're made up right now. Somebody like Jojo Romero would make a lot of sense for them,
hmm
although that's only 1 year. I don't know if that moves the needle enough. But they could also use, I don't know, anyone else on the Cardinals, I guess, really. Anybody else who's over the age of 26?
yeah. Well, I mean, what about a new bar?
Yeah.
I don't want to just dump all of our guys in one trade to the Royals. And I don't know that it would take that much. People may have other evaluations of Noah Cameron. I trading 5+ years of a young pitcher who's shown success at the major league level just normally doesn't happen without a haul. And Brendan Donovan is a bit of a haul in and of himself. It's just that shortness of control that you would expect a team like the Royals. They're like, well, if we're gonna do this, we need like real win now pieces,
Right.
you know? And so adding in a Jojo Romero makes a lot of sense. And then maybe they say, okay, Nootbaar, if we get him and we get the bounce back from him, 2026, we suddenly look like a really competitive team, having him in front of Bobby Witt and Pasquatch and all that. Like,
Yeah.
you could see having, Nootbaar and Donovan in front of Bobby Witt and Pasquantino was kind of the dream that we've had over the last 3 years of Nootbaar and Donovan in front of Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Right.
It just, never really came together.
Do you think that the looming lockout is affecting the way that teams who want to acquire Brendan Donovan are thinking about acquiring him? Or do you think that they're just thinking about this upcoming year and that maybe there's less
it's a tough
weight or
question.
priority put on that second year of control?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Our team's viewing 2-year deals right now as basically 1-year deals.
Yeah.
Is ultimately what is net
But
what you're asking, right?
But the thing is, if you are, and let's just say that the value prop on the Noah Cameron, Brendan Donovan deal just makes sense, right? Let's just say yes. Well, if there is a lockout next year, well, you're not getting Noah Cameron that year either. So,
Yeah.
like, years are subtracted from everybody's
Sure.
availability. So, like, if you think of 1 year Brendan Donovan for 4 years of Noah Cameron, maybe, like, I wonder if they're looking at it like that, or if they're looking at it 2 for $5, or if they're not considering it because they don't. I guess really they don't have any control over this.
Yeah.
The front office guys, they're just kind of trying to do their damn thing and make their team as good as they can. But I was thinking about that today, specifically with trade candidates with 2 years of control remaining, and obviously Donnie fitting into that.
I have to imagine you're thinking about it, but it can't be a deciding factor in something, right?
Yeah.
But
I think they should do it, and I think getting a 26-year-old pitcher who was mostly successful, like, now the problem, the reason I think it could get done, and I haven't watched Noah Cameron pitch in the minors, so I don't know what his ceiling is or what people think about him. But he put up a little over a 4 FIP, a little over a 4 XFIP. It's not like he's a wonderkind.
Yeah.
There's nothing amazing here, but I guess then do you trade arguably your best tradable asset for a guy who is maybe a 4 starting pitcher, or maybe he's a 2? It's really hard to tell with especially just the way that pitching development works these days, where, like, I would not be surprised if Noah Cameron comes to spring training with the most devastating splitter you've ever seen, just because pitchers are always morphing.
It's an interesting question. That kind of comes down to team comp, and a lot of that would just frankly or simply be decided by what other offers are on the table, right? So it's easy for us to say, like, okay, do you take the stable guy versus the high end prospect, et cetera? And like with the Red Sox trade, we don't really have an answer because the Cardinals accomplished both with that. They got the stable thing with Dick Fitz, and they got the wild upside with Brandon Clark. But I imagine there's probably a degree of balancing you're trying to do between the two.
Right.
And if you look at our pitching prospects now with Quinn Matthews, Liam Doyle, like Tekoa Roby, Tink Hence, Brandon Clark, you start to see a lot of upside with a lot of risk. And like, okay, we need one of those guys to click. And then we have Richard Fitz, Noah Cameron, Matthew Liberatore. And we start to see, okay, here's a rotation building out.
I mean, if you believe in the Cardinals' ability to develop pitchers, and you go acquire Noah Cameron, and you have Fitz Cameron as your 4 or 5, and 3 of those guys that we just named, I'll throw Liberatore in there as well. Mm-hmm. 3 of those guys perform like we think that they're capable and their ceiling suggests, then you're feeling really fucking good about a Noah Cameron, Richard Fitz 4 or 5 combo.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. And it's an interesting thing to think about. But I feel a acquiring a young starting pitcher who has proved that he is capable in the big leagues is probably good, like just full stop, like
Well,
whatever
yeah,
everything else looks like. It's just that is what the Cardinals should do.
that's kind of why I'm like I really think Noah Cameron makes a lot of sense as a target, and would be surprised if the Royals would be willing to move him. But you got to trade value to get value. But he like to me that is what you're looking for. Well, obviously you would rather get like a guy who completely explodes at the major league level the
Sure.
day one, but that almost never happens. And if they do, then they're just simply not being traded, except for maybe. I mean, the White Sox immediately traded Garrett Crochet, and the Red Sox paid a haul for him, but that's immediately worked out for the Red Sox. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, again, it depends on what's on the table. But if they went and got Noah Cameron, I don't know how you could be upset about it, and I think it would be a worthy target in a trade with Brendan Donovan.
And you look at the Royals, they have now there's been talks about them potentially moving Cole Reagans, which I think would be very silly to do. But their rotation right now looks like Reagans, Waka, Bubich, Seth Lugo, and Noah Cameron. And, that's an embarrassment of riches right there. They could obviously move one of those guys and still feel really good. And then they have obviously shown the ability to either improve pitching as it comes into their organization or develop pitching. So,
well, and we know the
think it'll
Central
probably
is wide
happen.
open, and I'm sure they're feeling some degree of like we've got Bobby Witt. We need to do like I don't think they're ever going to do full win now stuff, but like it seems to me like they're willing to make a win now type move.
With what Minnesota did last year, the fact that you have the Tigers legitimately talking about trading Tarek Skubal, which makes me want to jump off of a building.
Yeah.
And then the Guardians kind of always sitting on this line of 90 something like 92 wins. You should push in. And I think like whatever team has the gumption to actually fucking try in this division, you feel like could run away with it. Now, I've said that about the Central many times too, and the AL Central arguably even more infuriating. But yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, at least with the NL Central, you could argue like, well, the Cubs have made major moves and have spent.
And just the Brewers win total alone this year, like that, you can't argue with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's gonna be awesome if before this episode even comes out, there's like something like this happens, or it's completely off the table and this is all moot. But let's talk about the other big news from this week. Reference in the opening.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, who had a just above 2% chance at the first overall draft pick in this year's amateur draft, got a bit unlucky, and they ended up with the 13th overall draft pick. I watched the draft lottery. It was aired on MLB.com. It was. I appreciate that it's able to be watched, and it was like
it's aired on MLB.com?
I think it was on MLB Network if you have TV.
Okay, that's aired. All right. I agree. Sorry.
And I mean, it was a full production. It was kind of funny though. Definitely a full production with a mid budget. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't expect anything otherwise. But it was funny. They had like a big set, and they had representatives from every major team that was in the lottery. And so like for the Cardinals, there was Ray Langford, which is fun. We love Ray Langford. And they're all just sort of sitting there. They all get introduced. They all just sort of smile and nod as they're introduced. Every once in a while, the host, I think it was Greg Amsinger, would go over and like interview one of them. But overall, their participation was very light. They were mostly just sitting there. And then they did the lottery, which had been predefined. So the guy was just revealing it, and I will say, like, it was surprisingly a little more stressful than I was expecting. I was like, kind of like, ooh, what do we, because you want the Cardinals to go well, and he has a big placard that says like 17, then he flips it over and it's the team's logo,
right?
And so when the Cardinals flipped over at 13, it was pretty disappointing. I was really hoping for that high end pick. 13 is not terrible, don't get me wrong. The Cardinals can do something with that, and they also have the 32nd pick. So can still get some good talent, but you're not getting a Liam Doyle down at 13, right? That's when you're getting more into the, just the wash that is all of these guys. And you also start to enter into the territory of maybe you do underslot to get more money for later in the rounds,
Right. It
but
is still this is the third top 15 pick they've had in 3 years, which is something that Cardinals fans of our age are not used to. So yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at the 10 through 15 pick of last year, and they're all like super toolsy shortstops that are really young, and who the hell knows? They're all in either low A or rookie ball. But like it's not like it's the end of the world. There's still probably like a 55 plus future value player coming out of this. But yeah, the Ethan Holidays and the Liam Doyles are probably not going to be available at this point.
Yeah, it's still better than 17 other teams are getting. So you're happy with that. It's just when you have a chance at much higher, it's disappointing. That said, one bright spot out of this, we're not anticipating the Cardinals having a successful year in 26 from a record standpoint. And because they were not in the top 6 this year, they are eligible for the lottery next year. Had they been in the top 6, they wouldn't be able to be in the top 10 next year. So, there's a possibility that the Cardinals have a worse season in 26 than 25 and increase their overall odds for that first round pick, which had they been, let's say they got the 5th pick this year, would have been exciting, but then they rip off a 70 and 90 whatever record with a 22% chance of first overall, but they're not even in the lottery at all because of their back-to-back picks. Like, it's all kind of a wash, like, and who the differences between the draft classes and whatnot, who knows, but it is a potential bright spot that they might have a better chance at that first overall next year.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see. This will be obviously Chaim Bloom's first draft as the head bitch in charge for the Cardinals.
Head bitch in charge.
I don't know why.
Oh, damn.
I don't know why that came
Bloomin' goons, you bitches.
Yeah. No, I meant it in like a positive light. Like, head
like,
bitch.
Head bitch.
Yeah, snap. It was only said with love, but very curious to see like how he handles it, and the fact that he has 2 first-round picks is very exciting. And excited to see what their methodology is. Are they still going for college guys? Are they going for youngsters? What's going to happen? Are they going just pure name? Are they just going to get whoever sounds the coolest?
Zak Kent.
I'm looking at the 12th overall pick last year, Steele Hall. It's a great name.
I was looking at draft picks earlier, and I was reminded of Steve Bean. Remember Steve Bean?
Do not remember Steve Bean.
Oh, it was a first-round pick from like 2012 catcher. Steve Bean.
Could still happen. You never know. But yeah.
Maybe he's back in the draft.
Another funny note, I saw that Chaim Bloom was quoted as saying that he actually wasn't even watching the lottery reveal, which, just respect the game. Like, me neither.
Sure. Yeah. I believe him when he says it. It's funny.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point in watching it. You're going to be told, very soon after what's happening.
And I guess he's at the winter meeting. So
he's got bigger fish.
He's doing something more important than watching a mid-broadcast. I mean, they would like cut over to the guys. It was like, all right, the Texas Rangers, pick number whatever. And the guys just like slight head nod,
Yeah.
Like almost no reaction at all from all of these guys. And they were like really famous guys there. And they're all just cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like,
No, like, did the White Sox do it? Like, did we see a fist pump or anything like that?
Well, but also, because it's a process of elimination. Once the second overall pick has been finished, we all know who the first overall pick is, and they're still like, and number 1 is.
Oh, they should do it randomly. They should just.
I don't know how you get away with that otherwise.
Pick the Cardinals out. Okay, Cardinals they're slotted in number 13. Okay,
sure.
Pick the Cubs out. The Cubs are number 25. They should just do it like that.
Yeah.
IMO.
I mean, it was kind of exciting because both the Royals and the Giants were living the dream that we had for the Cardinals, which is they both had a 1 or sub 1% chance at getting the first overall pick. and they were both still available when the final six were being made. So that level of intrigue, you're like, oh damn, like okay, like how high are they gonna go? And then they were like 6 and 5, and you're like,
Right.
all right, good for them. I mean, especially I think it was the Giants, like they're the 5th pick or whatever, and they went up from like 13 or something, similar to what the Cardinals did. And if you look at the last 3 years, ultimately the Cardinals, from a luck perspective, it's kind of evened out. In 23, they went from 5th expected to 7th, which was kind of a downgrade. But then last year they went from 13th to 5th, which was, obviously a huge upgrade. And then this year, kind of the inverse of that. But still,
the fact of the matter is we have J.J. Weatherholt and Liam Doyle, and we're very happy about both of those guys. Could we have done slightly better? I don't know, but these guys are going to be great, and I'm very excited about them both.
Right now, Liam Doyle's looking like the best pick from that class, but we'll see.
And I mean, J.J. Weatherholt arguably is too.
Yeah, well, Nick Kurtz might have something to say about that, but JJ is definitely looking like well, he was projected at one point to be first overall. So
yeah, that'll be fun to track who accrues more WAR, Nick Kurtz or JJ. I feel like Nick Kurtz is going to have a sharp aging curve, and JJ might not. But that's
we're so
years.
far. We're so far. Like Nick Kurtz just had one of the best rookie seasons of all time. You're already like, when he ages, it's gonna be a difficult.
That body type does not age well historically, Nathan. Am I wrong?
I mean, look in a mirror. All right.
I wish I was as big as Nick Kurtz. Fucking fridge.
Yeah, well, there's those things where you like see these players where like we weigh the same, but we weigh the same in a very
yeah.
We're a very different body composition.
Yeah. I'm like 6'2", 215 or something like that. And when I see an athlete that's 6'2", 215, I'm like, we do not look the same. Like they're like rail thin.
Yeah,
it's impressive and scary.
Yeah, Mookie Betts weighs like 15 pounds more than me.
Yeah.
And we're the same height, and it is like we are fundamentally different shaped people.
And I mean, you've got 25% of that weight just in your noggin alone, so it's even more disproportionate. Derek Gould reports that Yadi Molina and the Cardinals are exploring a potential role for him in 2026, possibly coaching related. You think it's going to happen, Nate?
Yes, I do.
All right. I think it might happen.
It's been circling for a while. If it's not this year, it'll be next year. It seems inevitable at this point that he's going to end up as a coach with the Cardinals. Now, where that goes, who knows? But I think he's going to break into major league coaching on the Cardinals roster one way or another.
I think that I don't know Yadi. I've never met him.
Oh, really?
We
hang out all the time. You haven't met him?
We've been in the same room, the same building several times. But I haven't really, chatted it up with him.
Yeah, I guess when you think of going to games as being in the same building as someone, like, I've been in the same building as them hundreds of times.
Yeah. I've hung out with Post Malone. Games, I've hung out with Lady Gaga. I mean, all kinds of celebs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Hawk.
Love that guy.
Yeah. But I think my perspective is that I feel like Yadier Molina would enjoy being a coach much more than being a manager, just for his mental well-being. Now, he's expressed otherwise, and what do I know? But I don't know. I could see it really working out and him being a rock-solid either like special coach or pitching coach or defensive coordinator type coach or just anything like that. Just seems like a better fit for him, but I don't know.
So this is not meant to be derogatory. I think every professional athlete is this way. But I think Yadi chases clout, and I think that there's a part of him that like just being a bench coach or whatever is like not enough, and he's going to want to be like the manager of a World Series winning team is like, he's going to want that,
who doesn't? I mean,
of
it
course,
makes sense.
So that's where, because it like, even probably just framing it as chasing clout has a negative connotation, but to be a athlete at that level, you have to be that way to some degree. So I'm not even saying it's a negative thing, but in this regard, I think it also likely limit his drive to be anything other than like the main dude in this world.
Yeah. Hey, me too, man. I get it.
Yeah, like that's why I'm always turning down like it's like the Buffalo Bills offered me defensive coordinator, and I'm like, what the hell? Come on. You think I'm gonna get out of my chair to go sit in that chair? You know?
For a few hundred, I don't even know how much a defensive coordinator makes, but I'm going to guess they make more than you make right now on this podcast.
Yeah, probably. From this podcast?
Yeah.
Low particle.
Your sole income source.
Yeah. So, but I turned him down. Yeah.
That's smart. That's smart. It's good for you.
I said head coach.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to look thirsty.
Right.
I get it.
By taking a lower job. Yeah, exactly. I look thirsty by only accepting the highest level job. So,
right.
So I think it'll happen.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Cool.
What else you got, Nate?
I don't know. Should we talk about the Jordan Walker article from Fangraphs?
We might as well. I mean, we're here.
Great. Do you want to
Sure.
Well, I'll set up what it is. There was an article on Fangraphs about Jordan Walker and his time with Driveline. Now, you and I recently had talked about Jordan Walker and his time with Driveline, but at a pretty high level. This being an actual journalist with actual ability to deep dive and do something of value, actually like wrote out a lot about what he is working on and what some of his problems are. It's very, very interesting. Sort of I'd say a similar conclusion to what we have drawn, and I don't think is a particularly like out of nowhere or unexpected conclusion, is that ceiling is still super sky high and you shouldn't give up on this kid, but there's some clear work that needs to be done, and it's clearly not working at the major league level. What do you want to break down from the article?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of just break down what I thought was interesting from the article, and then maybe we can chat about it if you have anything interesting to say. But I think what we know, that you and I know, what a guy that wrote this, Mike Podhorzer, we should get him on the pod, Horzer, is that Jordan Walker has some of the best bat speed in MLB and hits the ball damn near as hard as anyone in MLB, period. Those like raw tools exist. He is a big, strong kid that can hit the absolute snot out of the ball. We all agree with that. The numbers back it up. The eye tests back it up. Everything like that. The cons, and I'll go through them, is that his fly ball pull percentage is way too low and declining. He ranked 269th out of 292 qualified hitters on the fly ball pull percentage. So if you think about that, that means that he is not getting into his power side on fly balls as often as he should, meaning that that fly balls that should be homers are not, because he's either a little bit late on them or making weaker contact. But it doesn't allow him to, or he is not actively pulling fly balls and dunking them over the shortest porch in any stadium pretty much he's playing in and hitting those for home runs. He swings and misses excessively. I don't think I need to explain that to anybody who's listening to the show that he does that. And he rarely hits line drives. He posted a 6.9% line drive rate in 2024. In 2025, he jumped that up to a 13.9. That is the lowest in baseball, despite his above average BABIP. Somehow he's doing both of those things. But among qualified hitters, he has the lowest line drive rate in baseball, which is wild.
Yeah.
So issues appear to be batted ball direction. He's hitting to the largest part of the ballpark, and he's not hitting the ball on plane enough. His minor league track record, I found this very interesting too. Said he had a 20% line drive rate at every stop with 100 or more at bats, and he hasn't reached 18% contact in the majors despite it being okay in the minors. Another thing, and I think I forgot to write this down in the outline, is that they noticed that they were calling it his hip was collapsing during his swing, which was a mechanical error that they are actively working on switching right now. So just think of his back hip as essentially falling down rather than being powerful through the swing. And they think that that's making him a little bit slower and just like a little bit less on time generally. So they're actively working on those mechanical changes. And I just thought it was an interesting breakdown. We've talked about how he was arguably the worst player in baseball last year. Obviously, the swing and miss. How does a guy who excelled so much in the minors, kind of, it's like his style of game changed when he got to the majors. And or I think what we've found is that essentially he is adjusting his mechanics, or he accidentally made a mechanical adjustment to try to catch up to big league stuff, and it has not been working.
Well, in many ways, you'll hear this phrase over and over. It's a game of adjustments, and both sides are adjusting, right? The league adjusted to deal with him, and so he tried to adjust to deal with them, and he failed. And so now they're looking in and saying, well, how can we fix and readjust? It's always interesting to me to hear the specifics, because you hear about these guys and like, oh yeah, we went and we fixed his swing. And it's like, well, what do you mean? So hearing about the specifics of his hip dropping and what impact that has is interesting. It's good to hear a more specific diagnosis. I don't think that's everything. There's still swing decision and other elements that go into play here. But I do like hearing we have found a problem and we're working on fixing it.
Right.
I do always wonder, did the Cardinals not find that problem? But that's a separate topic. So I will just repeat what I said last time we talked about him. I am still such a huge fan of this guy, and I really am glad the Cardinals are not just giving up on him. I'm glad that he is doing this. I think still probably Driveline, it is a self-determined thing. I would be surprised if the Cardinals assigned him to Driveline, at least our understanding of it from in the past. The Cardinals actually seemingly maybe have mixed opinions about him going to Driveline.
Well, Mo definitely did.
Mo did. We know that.
No idea how Chaim Bloom feels about this kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that there's specifics, that it's being worked on, that he's doing the work. And nothing would make me happier than to see Jordan Walker absolutely crush it.
I agree. None of my opinion changes, though. I mean, obviously, he should come into spring training, fight for a spot. We'll all determine together with Ali Marmol and Chaim Bloom actually making a decision of whether or not these changes are real. But we just cannot do what we did last year. And I think I'm feeling optimistic, though. Reading this article, seeing the time at Driveline, focusing on the problem, working to fix it, getting more athletic. Seems like maybe he's maturing a little bit, too, in his general approach. All of that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And I think, I hope that we look up in a couple of years and this was like a goofy start to an otherwise great and exciting career.
Yeah, because there's still plenty of time left. Still plenty of years of control from a Cardinal standpoint. And then obviously as a career goes.
Oh, I found my note. I must have just skipped over it. So the Driveline fix, the swing evaluation revealed his back hip was collapsing, causing him to drift forward and sap power production. Walker is working through drills to keep his back and his hips back and drive the baseball. Sorry, I just wanted to. I read over my note. That's what I meant to say.
Great.
I was kind of just shooting from the hip.
Just to our producer, just to make a note there, will you just edit that all out and just make
fix that in clean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What, you won't? That's all right. The producer said no.
That's you, dude. Talking to yourself, dumbass.
Mm-mm. No, I got a guy here now.
All right, buddy.
Yep. Carl. He just hangs out with me. Hambone, right now, the Rule 5 draft is happening.
Incredible.
So I will keep an eye on that. I will refresh it once I tell everyone how they can support this show. You can support this show by visiting patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. This show is entirely listener supported. Talking About Birds can't be bought except for by our listeners and wealthy benefactors, and potentially the right ad spot if it's the right thing that we want to do. That's the only thing that can buy
Wow.
Talking About Birds.
Money.
If you want to, money is the only thing we will accept if you're trying to buy us. Gift cards, maybe. But it's got to be the cool places.
Panera. Nate's a huge Panera guy.
Yeah. You know me here in St. Louis, loving Panera.
Oh, wait, I forgot. Yeah, St. Louis Bread Co.
No, they're rebranding them all, apparently. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's all moving to Panera. Got to have brand synchronicity.
Thank God.
Yeah. It's about time. Talkingaboutbirds.com is where you can find those links as well. But check out the Patreon. We really appreciate it. Everyone who's subscribed. Great place to go to get quick access to breaking news and other Cardinal fans who want to talk about that stuff. It's been popping as this hot stove has been heating up. And we'd love to have you there. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. You can also support the show with a review on your favorite podcast platform and by sharing it with your friends. Hambone, where else can people find us online?
We're on all the socials. You can check us out on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. You can watch this episode. There was a great cameo by my cat about 20 minutes ago on YouTube. If you want to come and look at my cat or Nate and I as talking, you can check us out on YouTube. You can find all of the podcast information, including T-shirts, available for sale at talkingaboutbirds.com. Of course, you can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And please reach out to us, leave a voicemail, or send us a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
Right, 848-48-BIRDS. Hambone, the Cardinals have made a selection in the Rule 5 draft. So I was
just looking at this. We got Matt Pushard coming down.
Yeah, from the Marlins. He is from their AAA squad. According to Fangraphs, maybe around 35 in their organizational rank. We're just doing Fangraphs reading at this point, but looks like he's got a pretty good K rate. Put up a 10.54 K per nine across 62 innings in 2025 with a mid-3 xFIP. So, just those numbers look pretty good. I don't know anything about his other stats. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm pulling up his prospect savant page right now, and everything looks really good. This guy strikes out a lot of people. He is 90th percentile in swinging strike, in chase. His ex-WOBA was exceedingly high. His ex-batting average and slug. Good exit.
This is a big boy. He is 6'4", 250 pounds.
This is my kind of guy right here. Looking at his arsenal breakdown, he really likes his fastball that sits around 95. It's a four-seamer. He has a very nice curveball that looks like the spin rate and the break on it is kind of ridiculous. He also features a slider, and not very often he throws a change cutter and even a sweeper, less than 1.5% of the time. So this is a guy with 6 pitches. Looks like he's really leaning on the four-seam curve slider, and a guy that strikes people out and gets weak contact. He put up a 2.9 FIP, 2.98 FIP last year. Only gave up 3 homers in 62 and a third innings. I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing right here.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much zone contact if you don't like that kind of thing. But looks like a really stuffy guy and a big boy, as you said. He's 28 years old. I don't know. This seems good to me. Everything looks good. There's a lot of red. Nothing to be mad about.
So they took him. So the way it works is he needs to stay on the roster for all of 2026 in order for the Cardinals to keep him. Unless something has changed. Rule 5 can be a little confusing sometimes, but unless something has changed, that's how it works. So we will certainly see this guy pitch in the major leagues. He is ostensibly now a part of the Cardinal bullpen until they decide to move on from him entirely. So I imagine, unless something changes and or spring goes particularly horrible, he will be a part of the opening day roster. And like you just said, I mean, first glance, everything looks pretty good. We had talked a little bit about who the Cardinals could lose in the Rule 5 draft. Blaze Jordan was a big topic of discussion around there. It looks like the only Cardinal who's been selected, the Yankees took Cade Winquest. Not particularly familiar with him.
Great last name.
Yeah. Also, the Astros selected from the Reds, Roddery Munoz. So
just keeps going around.
Yeah. I didn't realize he could be taken from them through this because they just got him, I think, from waivers from us.
Right.
But whatever. So Roddery's had an interesting offseason. Okay. So Matt Pushard.
Yeah.
Push hard.
There you go. That's what we want to say. Cade looks like he was at high A and double A last year. He threw 106 innings, a little over 9K per nine, and rocked a 3.57 FIP. I would imagine that the Yankees are looking at him as a potential bullpen arm, but I would put $1 on this guy coming back to the Cardinals relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Push hard, I feel like, or puss hard, or whatever we're saying.
I think it's puss hard.
I feel like he might have a chance. I'm kind of confused as to why he didn't make it to the majors last year. I'm not going to claim to know everything about the Marlins bullpen, but I can't. It's hard for me to imagine they couldn't have used him. But
yeah,
all right, he's our guy now.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's check in on the rest of the hot stove and league news.
Yeah, we got quite a few moves to run through. The big one, big two, I guess, to start off, is that the Phillies have re-signed Kyle Schwarber, 5 years, $150 million. I think that we kind of called this. I feel like we came to the conclusion that there was no way the Phillies were going to be outbid for Schwarber, and that's the case. 5 years, $150 million. I was kind of surprised by the length, not by the AAV, but just the fact that they went the full 5 for him. Good for Schwarbs. He's going to be 33 next year. And, we're talking about aging curves. I don't know. I could see him. I think I said in the Bird Squad, maybe he's going to age like Jim Thome. Just a big old strong guy that walks a lot and hits dongs. But good for the Phillies.
Yeah, I was surprised by the years too. But then when you think about it, 38, he's been so good. He seemingly has taken an extra step the last 2 years. And so I think he's definitely deserved. He's been one of the better power hitters in the game for years now. And the last 2 years has stepped up other ways. Well, like he's not even a batting average problem anymore,
No. And I think he's I would not have said this until the last 2 years, I think, but he's like a seat filler now. People want to come to the ballpark to watch Kyle Schwarber do his ridiculous things that he does. And
yeah,
I feel like the fact that he turned into that guy at the age of 31 and 32 is kind of fun. And he's like a 500 home run guy. He could be, I don't know. Well, I'm excited to see what he does with this contract.
Yeah. And then there's the flip side, which is, did he just get paid off of a career year? 4.8 or 9 WAR, I believe. Probably his peak. So you're like, well, it doesn't take much decline to suddenly be not as valuable. And in reality, until 25 and 24, he was a good player, but not like this. He had never eclipsed 3 WAR until 2024. And his giant season that he just had still is at like Mason Wynn,
he's a DH.
Yeah, he's a DH. He's a big slugging DH, so his value is capped by that. And so it doesn't take much reduction in any of these skill sets, whether it be power or OBP, for him to suddenly be like, yeah, it's fine. But boy, I wish we could use someone else at DH every once in a while, and instead we got this dude.
It'll be interesting to see how him and Harper age together. Like, will
Yeah.
will the Phillies be like, damn, we really wish we could have Bryce Harper at DH, but Kyle Schwarber is there. What's interesting is that he has the highest exit velocity of his career last year. He topped out, his average exit velocity was 94. And I'd like to think, it's history will tell you, I'm probably wrong, but he has elite bat speed. He's an elite hard hit. He has elite barrel percentage. He has elite exit velocity, elite walk rate. I would assume that those things, like his average bat speed is 77 miles per hour right now, which is tops in the league,
Yeah.
basically. Like, even if he loses a couple, he's
Still pretty good.
you would think, right?
Yeah.
The curve hopefully won't be as aggressive. And he's just a big, strong freaking dude. It just seems like he's gonna keep doing it for a while. And I hope so, because I think Kyle Schwarber is just good for baseball and fun.
Yeah. A couple other notes on this deal. We know that the Orioles also matched the offer.
Yep.
We'll talk about them here in a moment, but he chose the Phillies over the Orioles, which is fair. Even like if you looked at that in a vacuum, you could argue one way or another, maybe. Like Phillies are getting old. Orioles, we have a lot of problems, but you could see how it might be good to go there. But considering everything else, his experience with them and all that, like
It's his team.
yeah, it's a pretty clear and obvious, easy choice. I just thought it was interesting that they matched. So the Phillies didn't even have to beat everybody else. They just,
Right.
and then apparently the Reds made a very competitive offer.
Right.
We don't know the dollar amount. So that's intriguing when we think about the NL Central. That matters to Cardinal fans, because if the Reds had gotten Kyle Schwarber, all of a sudden we're feeling very different about the NL Central.
And
And
in
then
that ballpark too.
right. Well, and so that that begs the question: was this specifically for Schwarber and they saw an opportunity, or is it like we got 150 million to burn? Like, let's go get someone. Interesting. We'll see. And also the Pirates made a.
I don't buy this
offer.
one. I do not buy it. I think it's bullshit.
So the reporting is that they offered 4 years over $100 million. Which.
Well, I offered 4 years, 110, and nobody's reporting anything about that.
So
you could just say anything is what I'm trying to say. I don't think they did anything.
I'm not as cynical as you to say that I don't think they made the offer at all. I think that they very likely made that offer. It's been reported. They just knew it wasn't going to get picked up, because also the agent probably already knew. Well, we have a 5-year, $150 million deal in our hands. Why would we take that?
Yeah, the Pirates front office called and they said, what deal do you got on the table? Oh, we got a couple of 5-year 150s. We'll make a 4-year $100 million deal. Please take our offer. The guy hung up on him, and that was it. And then they leaked it to the press that they did that. I don't think anything. I don't buy it for a second.
So you don't buy that it was a legitimate effort to sign Kyle Schwarber?
That is what I do not. Yeah. Yes, that is what I'm trying to say.
Considering everything we know about everything around them, that would fall in completely alignment with the Pirates and how they behave.
Yeah, they're a joke of a franchise.
Yeah, they did sign someone though. Is it on your list? They signed Gregory Soto.
So that is on my list. The Pirates signed Gregory Soto to a 1-year deal worth $7.75 million. Wow.
Well, this one actually was interesting to me, because like they said they want to spend money, and they go and they get like a middle back end reliever guy.
Sure.
Which is like the type of signing you make when you're trying to improve your team to compete in a single year. But I guess we'll see how this all adds up, because if they're like, we said we wanted to sign money or spend money,
a guy that you flip at the deadline after you suck.
Yeah, which would be a smart move.
Sure.
Many would say.
Sure. And like I said, the Kyle Schwarber could age into the worst player in baseball in a couple of years. So you could argue that them not signing Schwarber was a good move too. I'm just saying, I don't believe that they're actually trying to sign him.
Yeah,
I think it's all a farce.
Wow.
Let's keep talking about big boys. The Orioles signed Pete Alonso also for 5 years and for $155 million.
What a twist.
Pete, a couple of years younger than Mr. Schwarber, obviously a primary first baseman, a decent first baseman. but a worse hitter. But Pete gets his big payday, 5 years, 155 million. I don't think I would have paid, even without our weird Cardinals history of Pete. I don't think I would have paid 5 years, 155 for Pete Alonso to play first base for me. But he got his payday, which is, that's good for him. And he'll be an Oriole for a while. And the Orioles are starting to push their chips in, which I think is the most exciting part of this deal.
Yeah, and you always like the wild, like the no one saw this one coming. I know this is a very small sample size, but in our bird scored prediction game, no one put Pete Alonso to the Orioles. So you like that, and you like to see like the Orioles have been, they've been an interesting team, and in many ways a laughing stock from how they've spent their money and how they prioritize things.
Right.
So you kind of like to see them go out there and splash and get a big free agent and spend, because that's what they've been criticized on spending. Now, is this the right guy for them? That's a different argument. But I think, as much as I like to bash on Pete Alonso for being such a big, strong guy, I think this is a pretty good deal for them. And I think I have more faith in him aging well and being a contributing, power hitting first baseman longer than Kyle Schwarber will be.
Well, he is 2 years younger, which is
Yeah.
helpful in that. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll obviously compare this because their deals are so similar.
Yeah.
And signed in the same year. I don't know if I agree with you. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would bet $1 on Schwarber, but I don't know. I'll have to think about it more.
It'll be the Orioles lineup is immediately more interesting.
Absolutely.
You get a bounce back from a still very young Gunnar Henderson. What is he, 23 years old? And you've got Pete Alonso behind him.
Yeah, I mean their lineup should be something like Holiday, Westberg, Henderson, Alonso, Rutschman, Ward, something like that. I mean that's
they have Taylor Ward now too.
Should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Assuming
I'm expecting a big year
again.
I'm expecting a good progress from Jackson Holiday too. I think this might be the year that it clicks a little bit more.
Yeah. The Dodgers, they signed a guy, Nate. They brought
it's so good to see them, I just I was starting to feel bad for them as an organization.
Yeah, I mean it's their poverty franchise, but they were able to scrap some coins together and get the best reliever in baseball, I guess you would say. Edwin Díaz signs with the Dodgers, 3 years, $69 million. Nice. So the back of their bullpen is Edwin Díaz and Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott obviously had a bad year last year, but as expensive as a 1-2 I think we've ever seen in a bullpen in Major League Baseball. And what I like, obviously the Dodgers are extremely frustrating because they do these kinds of things, but it's almost like they have this advantage that no other team has, and that they can actually invest. We're looking at 36-ish, $37-ish million in 2 relievers.
Yeah.
Per season in the back of their bullpen. No other team in baseball can do that. Where everyone's talking about how the Blue Jays are going to spend big this offseason. The Mets have more money than God. They're not really spending it. At least they haven't yet. But the Dodgers are the only team in baseball that's willing or able or both to put a tandem of 2 guys that are almost $40 million in the back end of their bullpen. And it is impressive and annoying, and I don't know what to say, but it's wild, I guess. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, and apparently they also get this and earned, frankly, but they get this people want to play for him, right?
Of course.
So we know that the Mets offered Edwin Díaz $66 million over 3 years. And he turned it down to take $69 million over 3 years from the Dodgers. So minor increase to leave the team that he had been with for years, to go to the Dodgers.
You would imagine that if Steve Cohen really thought it was going to be $3 or $4 million to keep Edwin Diaz, they would
Right.
they would
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. Like I bet I am assuming the Mets would have matched that
Right.
3 million over
Yeah.
three, like but it was probably like, no, we're just gonna take the Dodgers offer. You
Yeah.
know,
I
yeah,
imagine the non like a pretty decent chunk of free agents, especially if they're on the higher end, like, hey, why don't you go call the Dodgers first, see what they're willing to do, and then we'll go look at the rest of the field. And
yeah,
if the Dodgers offer you almost $70 million, all right, let's do it. I want to
yeah,
win a World Series. I want to play with
yeah,
Shohei Ohtani.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now going into a different end of the pool, the Rays sign Steven Matz, former Cardinal legend,
Yeah.
obviously, to 2-year contract worth $15 million.
Yeah, good for him. I'm not surprised he got a contract. A little surprised he got 2 years. A little surprised the Rays were willing to spend 15 million on him. They don't do that very often. But I think it'll work for him. The book on Mats has remained pretty consistent. If he's healthy, he's pretty effective. The
Yep.
degree of effectiveness ranges, and it'll depend on how they want to use him. But I'm not surprised he got a deal, and I hope he does well for them.
It looks like he's going to be in their starting rotation. And I'm just very curious. Like we've seen it. When he's on,
Yeah.
his stuff is good. It's hard for him to stay healthy. It's hard for him to stay consistent. I think he had a nice year with the Cardinals last year. I'm very curious to see what the Rays are able to get out of him, or if his potential is tapped, or if he can even be healthy.
Yeah.
But the Rays, I think, probably pretty smartly grab a potential starting pitcher for extremely cheap. And they'll probably, I don't know. I'm still in that mode where I just think Rays moves are smart, and then I
Yeah.
need to understand what they actually did after the fact. But yeah, we'll see. The Tigers re-signed Kyle Finnegan, 2 years, $19 million. I don't know if I have much to say about this other than like pitchers are getting paid, bullpen guys are getting paid. $19 million for
Yeah.
Finnegan is, that's not nothing.
He's been a closer for years now. It's been
Yeah.
a mildly effective closer for a bad team. But still the best reliever for the Nationals and was traded and did okay for them. So not surprised, and that's a pretty reasonable deal.
Yep. All right. Now getting to some trade talk. The Red Sox and Pirates. This happened like right after we got off the pod last week.
Mhm.
Red Sox and Pirates announced a 5-player trade on Thursday evening. The starter, Johan Oviedo, former Cardinals legend, heads to Boston alongside lefty reliever Tyler Semenego, and minor league catcher Adonis Guzman. Pittsburgh also gets rookie outfielder John
Jos
Nixon,
Jos Nixon.
Garcia, and an A-ball pitching prospect, Jesus
Do you know
Treviso.
his nickname? Just Nixon's nickname?
He needs a nickname. No, what is
It's
it?
the password.
The password. Good, because I cannot say that name.
If you look at it, it just looks like a password, which is the bit.
Well, yeah, I get it now, Nate. Thank you.
For the listeners.
Oh, shut up. They get it.
They don't get it.
Morons. But obviously Johan Oviedo, the biggest name in the deal, looks like he'll probably be a starter for the Red Sox. At least I would imagine that's what they're trying to do with him. And
So,
you look at his savant numbers and everything like that, and he is still a big old guy that throws really hard and has a nice breaking ball. It hasn't ever fully come together for him, but the Red Sox think of themselves as a bit of a pitching factory, and maybe they can get a little more out of Oviedo. All the tools are still there.
this is a baseball ass trade, Hambone. I think this is a good trade for both sides. Red Sox need more pitching. We knew that. They traded for Sonny Gray, but that they wanted more. Oviedo is good. He hasn't quite done it fully yet to what the upside suggests, but he's good. I think he will be good for them. I think this is a good addition to their rotation. And I think they know he was good, and the Pirates know he was good because they got a pretty good return for this too. Just Nixon has some risk, but he was completely log jammed by with the Red Sox outfield. And the Pirates have nothing but opportunity for guys. and he's going to get a real run at it, and we'll see if he puts it together. There's some real hit tool risk, but he's ready for a shot at the major leagues, and if it clicks, he could be very good for them.
Yep.
And they have depth at starting pitching. They can turn these guys out apparently. So I think it's a good trade for both sides, and we'll see how it works out. Because both these guys have upside and real downside risk. But that was a good move for both of them.
The Angels have acquired infielder Vaughn Grissom from the Red Sox in exchange for minor league outfielder Isaiah Jackson. Grissom, he's obviously been a part of a few trades over the past couple of years, most notably the one for Chris Sale. But man, how bad does that deal look right now? But anyways, he had actually had a pretty good season in AAA last year. He goes to the Angels. The Angels probably will have him batting third and starting at shortstop. And then like I said, the Angels pick up, the Red Sox pick up Isaiah Jackson, who could be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Not much to say with this one. Vaughn Grissom's been traded so many times, and maybe it'll finally click somewhere for someone.
Yep. Now this deal, I don't understand. The Nationals trade Jose Ferrer to the Mariners for Harry Ford. I get the Mariners wanting to move on from Harry Ford because they have obviously the best catcher in baseball, Cal Raleigh. I really like Harry Ford. I think he's going to be a very good player. I think he's a good defender. I think he's a good hitter. We got to watch him in the WBC a couple of years ago. I don't understand trading a good catcher that can hit and will probably hit in the big leagues for a guy like Ferrer. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Is this me undervaluing a decent bullpen arm or misunderstanding Ford's value? Or like, I feel like this is lopsided in favor of the Nationals, and I'd like to understand it more.
Well, I think it'd be fair to say this was paying more than you would expect for Ferrer or Farrar. But I also think that Farrar has a lot of control.
Yeah.
And I think he's good.
Sure.
He had elevated to the closer position for the Nationals. He won't be the closer for the Mariners, but that's more out of they have a very good bullpen. And they're going to have him for years, and he's still young. So this is a potentially staple part of your bullpen for the next 5 years, I think, maybe 4 years.
Yeah, he's got 2 years. He'll be a free agent 2030.
2030. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of control for a guy who will very likely be, potentially one of the top setup guys in baseball for the next half decade, And so that, you got to pay to get a guy like that. The Nationals don't need like that amount of control is right in their time horizon, So in order to get someone like that, you do have to trade some value. And Harry Ford has gone up and down prospect rankings for a lot of different reasons. There is some real upside there, but there's also some real risk. And so he's absolutely blocked.
Right.
You got to pay. Yeah. You got to pay to get talent. Maybe there was somebody else out there that you could trade Harry Ford for, but I don't know. I think that like a catching prospect, like, it's almost like pitching prospects, or like for every 10 high-end catching prospect that comes through, like one of them sticks,
I feel confident that it is going to work out. Like Harry Ford is the starting catcher for the Nationals, like maybe as soon as next year in 2026. And Ferrer is a reliever that may or may not, like, he's not a big strikeout guy. He's a big ground ball guy. He's a sinker changeup type pitcher. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to make the trade, and maybe I'll be wrong, but it just on first look, it didn't make any sense to me. Diving into it deeper, it didn't make any sense to me. But I think I think it might just be the cost of a controllable reliever is the thing that maybe I'm being slow to adjust to.
It is prospect for established big league contributor.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, and the Nationals would have said everything you just said about Harry Ford about Keibert Ruiz 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it just still isn't working. So,
yeah, man, Keibert is not good.
Yeah. Disappointing.
All right, final piece of news. Jeff Kent was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I guess quickly, I'll say I'm not like a huge Jeff Kent Hall guy. I'm not mad about it necessarily, but this isn't or I guess I have two thoughts here, Nate. If Jeff Kent is in the Hall of Fame, then Jim Edmonds should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's my Cardinals point of view on the matter. The other thing is that Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela all received less than 5 votes and will not be put into the Hall of Fame, obviously. And I am frustrated by it. It's not like Jeff Kent gets in, and that means that one of those other guys, like they all could have gotten in. So
and they're off the contemporary ballot now, and so it's going to be years before this question comes back up again.
Right.
To your point, Jim Edmonds has almost 10 more F4 than Jeff Kent in his career.
He's also an actual good defender, and was part of World Series winning team, and just did more. It's like if you look at Jeff Kent's numbers, they are good for a second baseman, but when you put him into the context of the steroid era and the era that he was playing in, I don't think they're absolutely exceptional. But I'm also like, would I have voted for him? Hard maybe. Would I have stumped for him? Absolutely not.
What a plant your flag moment there, Hambo. And I'm a hard maybe.
I could be convinced, is what I'm saying. Is if somebody has a good argument, I would listen to it. I compare second baseman to Chase Utley because he's the best second baseman that I've seen play on a regular basis, and I don't think Jeff Kent was Chase Utley. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. Jeff Kent is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, good for him. You know,
he can open car dealerships forever now.
I'll throw myself in the fire with you and say I'm a hard maybe on whether I'd vote for him.
All right, that's all I got for the league news. Nady H.
All right, Hambo. Well, all this talk about Cardinal first-round picks had me thinking, how have the Cardinal first-round picks from the last 10 years or so fared at the major league level? So I went and I did the research, okay?
Wow.
I have in front of me the Cardinals first-round picks from about the last 10 years from 2014, and their total career F4.
Wow.
So that doesn't necessarily mean with the Cardinals. Just their total career F4.
Wow.
I think this is kind of hard but I'm going to ask you, can you name the top 5 F4 leaders from first round picks from the St. Louis Cardinals in another edition of Who Charted First Rounders?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do terribly at this.
Yeah, this is tough. I will say you absolutely know all of these guys.
I'm sure, which is going to make it more frustrating.
Yeah.
From my point of view, Pete Kozma, is he within this time period?
No, Pete Kozma was like 2008, I think.
Is that long ago? Oh my God. We're gonna die soon.
Well, you also got to remember the long tail of draft picks, right? Like, So, a couple years before. Here, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll give you a little hint. So I went from 2014 and on.
Yeah.
2013's first round pick was Marco Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Okay.
So it's all after him.
It's all after Marco. And Marco, nice career for a first round pick that I wasn't very excited about at the time.
Sure. I'll pull up his total for.
God, I wonder. There's no way Walker is on the list. Oh, maybe. Just the fact that he made the big leagues is maybe. Let's say I'll start with Jordan Walker. Let's go easy.
No, Jordan Walker is actually the bottom of my list. You must remember he is negative F4.
Is he a career negative F4? I thought it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. 0.9. Negative.
Poor guy.
0.9. Last year was rough.
God, I don't even remember first over. I don't even have like a feint of a guess. So I'm just gonna get this over with quickly. Was McGreevy a first pick? Let's go McGreevy.
Yes, McGreevy is a first-round pick. He doesn't crack the top 5, but he has 1.5 F4. He's actually 6. Also, my numbers were wrong on Jordan Walker. I just double-checked. He's got 0.7 career.
There we go. I thought so.
He's
Come
above
on
one
now.
other guy. He's above one other guy on my list.
Okay. Nolan Gorman, I believe, was the first pick.
Nolan Gorman cracks the top 5 with 2.5 career F4.
Else? Did the Cardinals pick first? It was cracked. This is the big leagues. Mason Wynn was not a first round pick, right? Yeah, I don't think he was. Cardinals players was right. No, Ryan Helsley was not a first round pick. Liam Doyle hasn't made the big leagues yet.
I will say there are 2 starters, 2 who've spent their career as starters, one who's made his career as a reliever, and then
Michael Wacha.
Wacha is not in this because he was drafted in
before.
Before.
Damn it!
But
I
Wacha
felt so smart for half a second there.
Super.
Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty.
There's the big one. Jack Flaherty, number 1 overall with 16.5 total, or 16.1. Michael Wacha, better career. He's at 23 total F1, but before this.
Michael Wacha has had a really nice big league career so far.
Jack Flaherty is the number 1, though.
What about, does Luke Weaver fit into this?
Luke Weaver, number 2. Yeah. 8.2 career F4. He was the guy that I was saying has made his career as a reliever. Really, that's how most people know him, but he obviously had years as a starter.
I think he's a free agent right now. I'll be curious to see how he does in free agency for the first time as a reliever.
I'll give you a little bit more time. There's 2 more guys in the top 5. One is a starter. One is an outfielder.
One is a starter. One is an outfielder. One is a starter. I said McGreevy already. What the fuck did the Cardinals?
He spent the majority of his career with the St. Louis Cardinals, except for one moment with the Colorado Rockies.
One moment with the Colorado Rockies. One moment. Who spent? Oh, Adam Ottavino? No, he's too old. Yeah.
No.
All right, I'm going to try to focus on the outfielder. Who is an outfielder that the Cardinals took in the first round? Wow. I am blanking. Thinking of Colby Rasmus, that's way too long ago. Who is a more recent outfielder than Colby Rasmus that the Cardinals took? Tyler O'Neill was traded for. Lars Nootbaar was a late round pick. Alec Burleson, I believe, was a second round pick. I already said Jordan Walker. This is so frustrating. I hate this game. My God. This is not good podcast.
Okay.
I'll just say Victor Scott. I give up.
No. Dylan Carlson is the
Dill
outfielder.
Carl.
Yeah. With a career 2.8 F4. And the man above him coming in at 3rd overall with 3.1 career F4, Dakota Hudson.
Oh, Dak Hud. Where is he? Jeez Louise.
Not pitching. He went to the Rockies and hasn't pitched in 2 years or in a year. So I don't know if he's hurt or whatever, but so to give you the full list here, we had
he pitched for the Angels AAA team last year, Nathan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and God, he had a terrible year.
Jack Flaherty 16.1 F4, Luke Weaver 8.2, Dakota Hudson 3.1, Dylan Carlson 2.8, Nolan Gorman 2.5, Michael McGreevy 1.5, Zach Thompson 0.9, Jordan Walker 0.7, and Jake Woodford 0.1 career F4.
Wow. That feels about right.
Yep.
I really forgot that Dakota Hudson was a first pick.
Yeah.
He does not have first pick vibes.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed story here because, like, we think of the Cardinals as a draft and develop team, especially, this covers some periods of success for the Cardinals, and there's really very little actual success on this from first round pick standpoint. Obviously, Jack Flaherty is a household name in baseball, but total career numbers are okay. And there's a huge drop off to Luke Weaver, and then an even bigger
Right.
drop off. But this doesn't have, theoretically, Nolan Gorman is still early in his career. Jordan Walker still early in his career. Michael McGreevy still early in his career. So there's still a lot of early career guys on here, and I
Right.
didn't even obviously include. There's a bunch of other guys who didn't make their debut or haven't yet. Cooper Jerpy, um, Liam Doyle, JJ Weatherholt, etc. So,
And it looks like out of all those names we've talked about, Mason Wynn might be the best second round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, which isn't, I mean, that's the whole thing with baseball drafts. It's certainly getting better. More and more first round picks are seemingly being successful, but it's still, it's so hard.
Baseball's hard.
Yep. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We'll be keeping an eye on the news as the winter meetings wrap up. If you want to chat about the league and the winter meetings and everything else that's going on, consider joining the Patreon and joining our Discord at patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Join. You can find the links to everything, all of our everything over at talkingaboutbirds.com. We will be back next week as always, as we just slide right through the heart of December. And I hope you all have a wonderful next week, and we'll see you next week. And until next week,
wow,
let's go Birds.
Next week.